Hello and welcome to my virtual card and a cuppa. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Fiona Whitten and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator living in Berkshire here in the sunny UK. I can honestly say it's sunny because I can see the sun shining into the well because I'm in the basement. But anyway, so today I'm hopping on to share with you some cards and the kit, and also make a fourth card for Card and a Cuppa. So this morning I held the Card and a Cuppa event over at Home Grange at the it's called the Grange Chocolate Cafe, and so we all had lots of fun there. And I usually take three cards with me, so I've got those to share, and then I'm going to make a fourth card here live with you. So without further ado, this is the kit, or the second kit that everybody got for May. It was produced or put together, I should say, way back in February before I went away to the States, just to make sure that everybody got all their kits in time for when they were needed. So sadly, the paper and also the foils have retired. They were part of the Waves of the Ocean collection. And those two items, along with the blue rhinestones, were only available until the 2nd of May. So they have literally just retired. So you may be able to get hold of them, but through someone, a demonstrator or something, or through eBay, but I don't actually have anything left, so which is a pity. But anyway, so the kit, second kit this month, usual envelope. We have half an A4 sheet of Coastal Cabana, which is this pretty turquoisey blue. There was a piece of basic white to go on the inside. A piece of Night of Navy, which has been embossed, and I used the, I want to show you here, Painted Texture 3D embossing folder. The reason I use that is actually reminds me of waves. So the picture that I shared yesterday of the kit, you can't see this too well, so hopefully you can see some more detail now. So that's what that is. So that's going to go on the front. Then we have a piece of the double-sided paper. So this is the Waves of the Ocean paper. So originally it was a 12 by 12 sheet. We have a piece of the blue foils. Actually, this is Coastal Cabana, so that ties in perfectly with the kit. And then there's another piece of basic white, which has been die cut. Now, the dies are part of the Waves of Inspiration bundle. So this is the stamp set, the Waves of Inspiration. It's a cling mount, so that means it's a red rubber. So this is the red rubber. For those of you not familiar with Stampin' Up, they have this red rubber, which they call cling mount because it has the foam and it clings to your blocks. And then they also have the photopolymer, which is the clear, which also clings to blocks. And then there's also the Waves die. So these are part of the bundle. And this is the die that I used for the for this piece, this label. But there's all sorts of things. There's clouds. There's another label. This is for die cutting the pelican, and then these great. These dies here will die cut waves out of cardstock, paper, whatever it is that you want to die cut out of. So that was the stamp set. You'll find this now. So this stamp set is still available. So it was just the paper and the foils that retired. So you will find the stamp set and the dies here on page 101 of the new annual catalogue. So it's a distinctive stamp set, which means that when you actually stamp it, doesn't give a full block image. There will be different shading on it. So if you stamp in an example of Night of Navy, which is what I'm going to do, then you'll see that you get your outline of your pelican and the feathers, and then these parts here are different shades of the Night of Navy. So it's a really nice effect, and the waves too do that. And then the other items that we've used today were the faux glass shapes, and I'll show you those in a second, and also some linen thread. The embossing folder, as I said, which is the painted texture one, and then the other option for people to use if they wanted to are also these Pebbles enamel shapes, which are in the January to June catalogue. So these are still available as well, and I'll just show you quickly what they look like. So these are the Pebbles. Actually, probably better if I take them out of the cello bow, because then it won't be so shiny. So these are actually quite shiny. So they're slightly different shapes and different colours. So you have the browns taupe and then a much paler taupe. So that's those. And then the glass shapes. It's not real glass, so don't worry, you're not going to cut your fingers on it. So we have a clear, a coastal cabana, and then a sort of a yellowy green colour. And again, these are all slightly different shapes and sizes, so it's very easy to be able to put them together to create a border and things. So that was the kit, and I'm going to show you quickly the cards that I took with me this morning. I think somehow someone took home one of my envelopes, because I did actually have all of my envelopes stamped. So this was the first card that I showed everybody. So this is the simplest card. So we have the paper, which I actually cut off a strip to put on the inside, and then so we have the Night of Navy embossed piece that's just glued to the card front. Glued the paper on top, stamped a sentiment onto the label, and then I've threaded through the foil, but before I did that I bannered each end, and then that's simply added to the card front using some Stampin dimensionals from some foam pads. So that's a very simple card. I'm going to have to stamp that envelope again. The next one that I shared with them was this card, and this time, rather than using the darker side of the paper, so instead of using the darker side, I flipped it over and we used the lighter side. So it's ideal for stamping on, but again I cut a strip off, so this is the other side to that. So stamped pelican, then the strip that was cut off, turned it back over so it had the darker side facing, and just glued that on. So these are just basically glued directly onto the piece of Night of Navy, and then again threaded through the foil, but this time I just did a straight diagonal cut. One thing to be very wary of is just be careful with glue when it comes to foils, because it does mark. Now I know I can probably get that off with a damp cloth, and if I'm very, very careful. So that will come off, but the glue does have a tendency to kind of mess things up a little bit. And then just the pelican stamped inside. And this is what I was meaning about the distinctive. So this was actually stamped. This was just one, touched my stamp to the ink pad, stamped on here. And this is the effect. This is the distinctive effect. So you've got the darker edges and you've got the lighter middle part. And then you've got your rope and you've got your pelican. So that was that one. And then the third one was slightly more complicated, but not really. So these are the faux glass pebbles. And then what I did was the paper that we had, I cut it into 2 centimetre strips, glued these 3 on. I did leave a piece left over. And then the foil I cut in half. So this is the top and bottom. There's absolutely nothing in the middle there, but you can't see that because instead of having the label going across, I've got it going up and down. And then we stamped the pelican, and that was a simple case of taking a post-it note. So if you put your whatever item it is that you're stamping on your grid paper, have an edge lined up with a square so that you know that it's straight, and then use a post-it note, firstly it'll hold it going across, and secondly it will give you a straight line that the ink will not go under. So you can stamp on here, and obviously then it means that the bottom portion that you've blanked off is not going to get any ink on it. So that's just like the top half of the pelican. The base would have come down about here, and I didn't want it on this portion. So I added some faux glass elements, and then I also used some linen thread, just 4 short pieces, and then made a loop and fed it through. And again, stamped the pelican on the inside. So those were the cards that I took with me. And then the $64 million question, as always, is what am I going to do now? And that's always fun, because sometimes I think about it in advance and sometimes I don't. And I have to admit, at the moment, I'm kind of a bit, what am I going to do? So I'm just going to put these to one side for a bit of inspiration, whilst I gather my thoughts and all the other pieces that I need. Make sure I've got everything. Okay, so I am going to stamp my pelican. So I've decided on that. So here's my pelican. And I am going to stamp it in Night of Navy. So I have my Night of Navy ink. This is a relatively new ink pad. So it's quite juicy, so I just need to be a little bit careful and don't go too heavy with the tapping, because little splatters will go all over the place and you don't really want or need that. So I'm going to just simply tap on there, check that there is ink all over, which there is. Move my ink pad out the way, and then I'm just going to stamp down. Now he does just about fit on the width of this. Let's see, hopefully I haven't gone too far up. Should stand up and do this because I can't really see for certain. No, he's fine. Probably could have pushed down a little bit more there, but that's not the end of the world. So as I said, by having that post-it note along the bottom, I know now that I don't have anything towards the bottom there. And then, seeing as I've got him out, I may as well stamp my envelope. So I'm going to do that. Seeing as it's already out and it's inked up, then do that. So that's him. I tend to put certainly the Night of Navy to one side, simply because it does take a couple of moments to dry, and if you put anything on top of it, you will transfer the ink, which is not so good. Now, what am I going to do with this? I think I'm going to put him on. He's going to get on there. Put him right down the bottom. It doesn't really matter that it's going off. In fact, I think, no, there's nothing there, so I must have judged that pretty good. Now, there is a little bird stamp as well, which is very cute. So I am, oops, no, I'm going to use Night and Navy again, I think. I could use black, but I'm going to stamp a few birds on here. Just to, there we go. So we have a few birds on there. I'm not going to put any on the envelope because they'll end up getting hidden by the stamp or something. So I'm just going to leave that like that for the moment. Now I have my Coastal Cabana base card, and I do need my bone folder. Just make sure that that's a good sharp crease. So we have him. Now, do I want to use my paper, or do I just want to keep this extremely simple? That is the $64 million question, because there's all sorts of permutations that you can do with this. Yes. And the nice thing about the paper is that it's got different bubbles and things, so you can right, that's what I'm going to do, I think. Now that is just the same width as that, so that's fine. I'm not too worried about that. Now, originally the paper was intended so that we had the dark side on the top, which means that when you cut it, the blade sort of pushes the paper down, so the edges can be a bit raised. So if you just use your bone folder or your fingernail, your thumbnail, and you can just run your bone folder or your fingernail down, and that will just push that back down again, so it's not really you don't really notice that raised portion. Now I want, let's see if I put it that way or that way. No, I think I'm going to put it that way. So I need to have that, because this is 10 centimetres across, because it's 10 because I want to have the border going around, and the card front is 10.5 centimetres by 14.9. So I need to cut this at 10 centimetres. Get my trimmer out. So I'm going to put this and cut this at 10, like so. And that's all the cutting I need to do. Oh, now I'm thinking, do I really want to have that? No, I do want it on the lighter side. Like so. And I'm going to stamp the happy birthday, I think, directly onto here. And when I say directly onto here, I'm actually going to move it away from this, because this is textured and you don't want too many, you want to have it nice and flat when you're actually stamping. Now, I could put the happy birthday on, which is quite a fairly short and narrow sentiment. But I've got quite a big space here. So maybe I will use one of the other sentiments. So you're totally awesome. Not sure about that. Your strength is an inspiration. I quite like that sentiment. So I think I'm actually going to use that one. And you can see here, it'll actually look quite nice there. So that's what I'm going to do. It just means I need to find a different block. Ferreting around here trying to find some blocks. Well, that'll fit. There we go. I'm just going to put that on there. So we're going to put this here And again, I'm going to use the Night of Navy. Just double check that it's got ink on it and that it's not around the edges, so that, because I don't really want to be putting a mark somewhere where it shouldn't be. Now I'm going to put that one here. Oh dear. Let's see, put that there in line with that, I think. Maybe not. Move it over a little bit. There. And then I'm going to put this here, hopefully in the middle and straight. So straight down. There we go. And because it's on a lighter colour, then it shows quite well. So we're going to put this on here, like that. Not sure, do I actually want to move this pelican out of the way, because I really don't want to put my elbow in it. And the bird. I'll close that up. And try and get into a habit of closing things as I go, because then I know that it's not going to, I'm not going to end up with my elbow or something in it. So what I did was I just simply threaded this through the loops, either end. And you can use this for ribbon, you can use it for all sorts of things. So I think I'm going to put that on there. That's going to go on there. And I think, yes, I like that. And I think I'm even going to leave it as a square end. So the trick for, and the tip for this foil or anything like that you're threading through, if you are not using dimensionals, then I would suggest you just use some glue dots, and you basically place your dimensionals here or your glue dots there, and that will hold this and stop it from slipping, because there's nothing worse than then standing up a card and that going and going through and you're losing it. So if you actually anchor it, and as I said, because foil doesn't take too kindly to glue, it's a lot easier to use tape or these dimensionals and things, which I do have. I haven't had to go looking for. Amazing that. And I'm getting to the last on some of these, because I actually switched them out this morning so that the people at Card and the Cuppa had a fresh batch of dimensionals. Now, you could do it so that it's shorter top and bottom, but I think I quite like it. Sort of even Stevens. Right, so I'm just going to put a dimensional there and a dimensional there, because obviously you're not going to see it. And then I'll just put a couple in the middle just to make sure it's not going anywhere. So that is going to go on here, like so. So what do you think of the new catalogue? I really like it. I think Stampin' Up have done a really good job, and the photographs and everything. And it seems to be well organised as well. It's not too difficult to find things. So right, I'm going to put some glue on the back of this and attach it direct to the card front. And remember, because it's embossed, you've got your debossed and your embossed side, so it's up to you which side you want to have facing. In fact, it's on this one, it's actually kind of difficult to figure out which is the embossed and which is the debossed side, because there is so much texture on it, but I think that is the embossed side. So put that on like so, and then I can have that closer to the top or the bottom, but I think I'm going to have it slightly higher than towards the top than the bottom. and I'm safe to put all this on now because I've done all my stamping. I wouldn't put this on and then do the stamping. I always like to do my stamping and then glue everything together, simply because you make a boo-boo, it's a lot easier to be able to turn something over or get a fresh piece than it is to start trying to peel things off. And oops, there we go. You will notice on this one and some of the other embossing folders is that when you cut your original piece of cardstock or whatever it is that you're embossing, vellum or shimmer paper, once you've embossed it, it will have shrunk slightly, but don't panic. It'll only be a tiny marginal amount. Yes, I like that. So there's that, and then I've got my innie to go. If I thought about it, I could have actually put some birds on here, but I'm not even going to attempt to, simply because of the fact that I can run my finger over that and I can feel all the different levels, and I really want to make sure that anything is flat before I do actually stamp. So this is the last bit with the innie to go inside. So news to share this week. I'm trying to think. Well, we've got the in colour starter kit this month. Don't know if you've seen that. So if you're thinking of joining the Stampin' Up family, love to have you come on board with me. And this month, Stampin' Up are offering a free in colour starter kit in addition to your normal starter kit. So your normal starter kit is you choose £130 worth and you pay £99 and it ships to you for free. But this month there's an additional, you can get the in colour starter kit, which is worth £62.50. So in effect you get nearly £200 worth for the £99. And the in colour kit has all 5 of the new in colour ink pads and paper, cardstock, pack of paper, pack of cardstock, and also the in colour grid paper. So this is one of the grid papers that used to be available. And then, I love my grid paper. I use it all the time for making sure that I've got things square and everything. So yeah, we've got those, and then we've also got the in colour stuff. Now, do I actually want to use any of these pebbles? That is the $64 million question. You know what we could do? Let's see. I'm going to use my take your pick tool. And I'm just thinking I'm going to use the basic colour ones. I don't really want to be... Is it not going to be coming off? Let's see. I think this is one of those ones that you kind of have to like get underneath and do it. Do we want it flat? Because actually I quite like it that way. Not sure that I would want to put rhinestones on here if I was certainly if it's I wouldn't say it was a typical masculine card, but it would be a great one to use for men. I'm just going to put these at an angle like that. Three. I'm very much I like to keep mine. Maybe we'll put a small one either end. But I like to keep mine uneven. I believe in the unevens when it comes to adding things. Right. Oops. See now. Oh, these are a little bit. Just trying to get my pokey tool underneath because I want to make sure I want it at an angle. that's that, that's that. And that one's not quite right, but I'm probably too late to get it up. Yeah, I'm going to have to leave it. Okay, so I've put some of the pebbles on. Just finished it off that way. I might, I could be brave doing this. Yeah, yeah, definitely, because I've managed to separate it. So these maybe, you just do need to be careful and make sure you get underneath it. I don't know that I can take that off now. I might put a different one on. Let's see. Maybe go for a long one after all and just turn it around. You can glue these back on. Maybe if I do it that way, you won't notice it too much, she says. Let's see if I can poke that underneath. Sometimes you can. Right, okay, we'll pretend that one didn't happen. So that is my fourth card. It's simple. It's very simple again. I don't like to do too complicated. So we got today's card, and then these are the other cards, as I said, that were at Card and a Cuppa earlier. So I will be posting photos of all of these, and they'll go up on my Facebook page, together with the cutting instructions for the kit. So if you want to follow along on the video, because this is being recorded and it will go be posted in a minute once I'm finished. And I was going to hope that I could actually see comments. I think someone just commented, and sadly I cannot. Let's see. Maybe I can. Oh. Hello, Elizabeth. I've just got a reminder. Well, that's nice that you managed to pop on. Thank you very much. So yes, so those are the cards, and so there will be photos up, and I will see you next week for some stamping and creating. And enjoy your week, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.